Hey everyone, air utility. Air utility. I got a question about that. Somebody asking what it is and what it does and when would you use it. So basically, it's an effect plugin that came with the new Pro Pack that you can purchase for the recent 3.6, 3.7 firmware upgrade. And so you can only get it with that Pro Pack. And let's go take a look at what it is. So I'm going to start a beat here that we're going to use for this demo. And basically, the air utility allows you to manipulate the input signal and a little bit of the output signal. And let me show you how. So let's go to the mix. And then we have the drum track here in this row, and I am going to go ahead and add the air utility, and you can find it in the harmonics. Let's find that harmonics. Here we are, harmonic. So we open up harmonic and then air music technology. And then there's air utility right at the end. So let's select that. Let's select. All right, and then we can just, you see it's been inserted into the effects rack for that channel. And then we just hit that. And now you can see this is the page that comes up. So I highly recommend that you go to the presets here and play around with those presets to see what changes that happen. But basically, here's what you can do. You have an input channel and you have a menu. Here you can, right now it's selected on stereo, but if you want you can play around with these left and right combinations. To be honest, I'm not sure exactly how the summing of the channels plus or minus 3 to 6 dB works. You know, my audio engineering is not that great, but play around with it. It's actually fun to discover what it does. But basically, you know, you could swap the stereo channels if you wanted. For example, I just did that, so you can hear the open hi-hat is on the left, and I'm going to swap it back to stereo, and now the open hi-hat is on the right. You can also do phase inversion here. Phase inversion, again, I'm not an audio engineer, but I've never had to use it, but basically I think what it does is it allows you to inverse the phase of a signal on your particular channel, and that's in case you have an interfering signal from another track that is canceling out your signal, a similar signal in your current track. So what you would do is you would inverse the phase of the signal in your current track so that the signal from the other track doesn't affect it in any way. Okay, so that's you know, phase inversion. You can play around with that, but I think most importantly here, what you can do is you can change the width of your track. So you can make it really narrow, or you can make it really wide. So you can see here now I have a really wide mix. You could play around with that. Another thing you can do is bass mono. So I can activate that. And what bass mono, this is probably the most important feature on here for me, which I've learned recently, is that in your mix, a lot of the muddiness of your mix comes from unnecessary low frequencies, the sub-bass frequencies that are spreading throughout the stereo image. All right, and you know, unless you're looking for a very particular sound, you don't usually need those low bass frequencies in your stereo landscape. Okay, what it does is it takes away real estate from other frequencies that need that stereo space. All right, so pressing the bass to mono, it's barely perceptible, but putting that to mono will clear up your mix a lot. Okay, so that's a trick I learned recently. And then over here you have output. You can modify some of the output by muting. You can increase the gain. Whoa, that's a lot. Or decrease it. And you might want to do this. Of course, there are other areas you can, like in the channel fader, you can play with the gain, but maybe you need more headroom, and so this gives you that extra push of gain. I don't know. And also you can pan left or right. Okay. I think this may be, the air utility might be useful also on, like your master output channel. When you're finalizing a mix, let's say you just want to give everything that extra stereo width, you can do it there. All right. So that's it. I hope this was helpful. All right. Peace.